Right, good morning, everyone. The date is Tuesday, August 30th, 2022. This is a regular time and place for a meeting of the Kings County Board of Supervisors. Due to the health emergency, the board is using the WebEx teleconferencing format for today's meeting as well. So whether you're participating by way of the web or by the telecom, thank you for participating virtually. We also have members present in chambers, so thank you for being here. And we appreciate your help and support during the health emergency. For those interested in commenting during unscheduled appearances, if you're online, use the raise your hand feature. Wait to be recognized, and if you're on the teleconferencing as well. Members of the audience who filled out speakers cards will be taken in the order they're received by the clerk, and we will take them up when we get to the unscheduled appearances portion of the agenda. Each vote today will be verbal or a voice vote so that members of the public can hear how each board member votes. And so after we introduce the item, discuss it, there'll be a motion and a second, and then we will take up a roll call vote by district. With that, will the clerk please call the roll to establish quorum?
Joe Nevs.
Here.
Richard Valley.
Here.
Doug Verboon.
Here.
Craig Peterson.
Here.
Richard Fagundes.
Here. Let the record show 5 members present. Thank you very much for being here. We have established quorum. We will be able to conduct business. Pastor Fox, I did not see here. And so Ed Hill, will you deliver the invocation this morning and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please bow your head in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, enlighten us as we meet today, that we each have a clear understanding of the issues we need to discuss. Give us clarity on our purpose and what we should accomplish today. We pray that you look over those in the throes of war. We pray that you look over our men and women in uniform and ask for their safe return. We pray that you watch over those who have encountered hardships and losses during the most recent fires. We pray that you watch over Kings County, our constituents, and bring water back to our valley. And we pray for sanity in our world as we look towards the future. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. I want to thank the American Legion Riders for also having the colors here this morning. So if you'll all please now join me as we honor America by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice. Thank you very much. We have a couple of guests here, out-of-state guests here with us this morning in Supervisor Valley. Would you like to make the introductions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate this time on the agenda and you allowing the agenda item to come to the top here this morning, and hopes of saving a little time so these gentlemen can make their flight back to Memphis this afternoon. So as you know, a few years ago, thanks to the Board of Supervisors and the work that you've all done with High-Speed Rail Board Authority, there was some issues that took place that led to some negotiations. One of the negotiations was to get funding to deal with the negative impacts that the construction of the high-speed rail project brought to areas of our county. And so one of the things that you were very supportive of and you went after was helping to improve the north entry to the city of Corcoran. And with that, the city of Corcoran was building a park there on the north side of Corcoran. They donated some space to us and we decided to use the funding to do a veterans memorial. And so that was $1 million of funding. And we're looking to do something very special for all of Kings County. In fact, all the San Joaquin Valley. And that's what these gentlemen here are here for to present today. So at this time, can you come to the podiums, gentlemen? Please join me in giving a Kings County welcome to this Mr. Paul West and Mr. Tyler French from the city of Memphis.
Thank you. And Richard invited us to come here today and speak to you very quickly. And I don't know what to say other than thank you. As I look around the room, I am overwhelmed with a sense of gratitude and appreciation for what you people are doing. As I came in and saw the Veterans Memorial in front of the building here, it's obviously you guys have a great appreciation for veterans and for the people that have served this country. And that's what communities are built upon. And to see that is truly amazing. Thank you to all. It doesn't happen without the people that are in this room, and appreciate your support for the project. When I first came here, and they said they want to build a world-class veteran memorial in this spot, and I went to the spot, and the first thing I thought was, Paul, you've gotten in over your head. There's a dirt patch here, and how in the world are we going to make this a sacred space and something that's beautiful and functioning and worthy of the people that are in this room? And I went back saying, no problem, I got this, and got back to Memphis and thought, oh my goodness, what have I got myself into? So I did what any smart person does, and I called a friend and said, I need some help. We've got something. And I've been in the memorial business for 30 years. I've done veteran memorials all over the country, but this is a unique situation. It's a unique situation in that we have such incredible enthusiasm and support from the community that it has to be done and has to be done right. Tyler, and I'll let him speak to what he does. This is a sample of his work. He is known throughout Memphis and does a lot of work with St. Jude. He is the best there is. Memphis, California, wherever it is, he is the best there is. And both of us own our companies. We're very hands-on in what we do and feel very confident that we're delivering what I said I would deliver initially. So none of this happens without you guys. None of it would not be doing any of it were it not for the service of the people in here. And we are just filled with gratitude and honor to be a part of this thing. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Webb.
I'm Tyler French. And really, I have to say, I'm incredibly grateful. You guys had the inspiration for all this project to happen, and you had the faith and the vision that we had to help describe what you felt. And so we're really, I mean, I'm really grateful to be just a part of it. And I've done I do almost entirely municipal work in big cities all around the Mid-South. This project has more community support and more vigor and verve in it than almost any of the ones we've worked on before. So it's really been amazing to be part of this process so far, but it's going to be a knockout project. It's going to be really stunning.
You want to, thank you for the openings. Just so you know, we're putting this presentation kind of on the fly, but Mr. Hill, could you go through some of the examples here of their work? And then if it's your work or Tyler's work, maybe you want to talk about each piece here?
This is just one. There's a sort of a town in Tennessee, and they wanted a memorial for each conflict America found themselves in over the years. And my initial thought was, well, great, we'll just come up with a design and we'll swap it out for the different wars we're in. And they said, no, we want an individual design for each one of them. So this is one of the more than 20 memorials that are in this one park in a small town in Memphis. And it also kind of speaks to what you guys are doing. You can't judge the fight of a dog by its size. And this was a small city that came together as a city and made something that's now that's become a tourist attraction. People from all over West Tennessee come to Savannah, Tennessee to enjoy catfish and walk through this memorial. So it really was a community project that made it all work. This is in Longwood, Florida. This is a 9/11 memorial. This is the first one where we use the void in between the space. So there's 3 stones there, and the missing space is a scale model of the World Trade Center. So they got a piece of the World Trade Center, and the only condition was they built a memorial around it. And this is what we made for the city of Longwood, Florida. This is the Korean War Memorial in Memphis, Tennessee. This is the first time we used etched bronze rather than cast bronze. So instead of casting it in the sand, we took a solid piece of bronze and etched out images. And what's great about this is you can feel things. It's all done on different levels. So you can feel the shoelaces, you can feel the grass, you can feel the helmet, you can feel the buckles. And a lot of our memorials, I like to have people touch them. And this is one of those things. You can go feel the face of the person that's there. And so this is one that's not far from our office. This one's actually, we've done them all over the country. This one we had the pleasure to do in Memphis.
This is a project of mine. I do a tremendous amount of work for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We probably do 90% of their artwork, and we do for all their different facilities. But this piece here is the world's largest sequin mural. So if you go to our website, or our Youngblood Studios, my company, if you go to our website or Instagram page, you can see a video of this in motion. But all those colored areas are all active with any kind of wind. So St. Jude came to us and they said, we have patients that look into these spaces that don't leave their rooms for 6 to 10 weeks at a time. And before, they were looking at like a white rubber roof and some concrete walls. And so they were really great to work with us and believed in our vision on this one as well. And so we built this and it's just been a knockout. I mean, I still to this day, and this was done about 3 or 4 years ago, I still to this day get emails each week from families and patients of families and everything, and doctors and nurses even that work in these spaces. And they're just like, it has substantively changed the quality of the people's time there.
Tyler, just to be clear, this is if you go to this hospital, you're walking in this. This isn't something that's painted on a wall. This is,
No, this is like a full 3D, like that tower you see in the center is 140 feet tall. There's like 600 flowers that are all wind driven that will activate that lower space. It's a pretty magical space.
here we go. You want to talk about our
Yeah, so
courtroom?
this is the rendering of the project that we're building for y'all right now. So my hope with this project was that what we've done is we've gone and we've done high def 3D scans of people that are in active military. And so we've taken each of those scans and we've addressed them in the computer and we've sliced them into slices so we can get a really accurate depiction of them. When Paul first came to me and said we would like to do a veterans memorial, I was like, boy, it's tricky. You don't want to get too much into the military part of it or the war part of it, but I was like, everyone can identify with losing someone important and what that means and how that feels. So with this project, I really designed it to be like, from a distance, you can see all these figures and they seem solid and substantive. But when you go into the very center, because of the way we're building them, they'll mostly disappear because we built them in these layers and they're all aligned with that center point. And so I wanted to have this moment in the middle that was like a really kind of beautiful description of like you have someone there and then they're not there at the same time. So that's been our goal with this, but it should be a really knockout project, I think.
12-foot high, right, Paul?
Yes, you'll be able to see it from all over the park. And that dirt field is now fantastic. I can't believe the progress that's been made. I think you were the only project in the United States that is ahead of schedule at this time. That's pretty amazing feat. But to go there now and see where it is, we can really see how this is going to fit in that space better than we had hoped.
Oh, okay.
Play the movie now.
Okay. You want to let them know what they're about to see right here, Paul?
Yeah, we had some folks from Corcoran come to Memphis. I think it was for the barbecue, but they said it was to come see the statues. So they came to check, make sure what we were doing. And this is just the head. And this is showing as you move around it, how it goes from being something you see through becoming a solid figure.
And also, we were really delighted with the amount of detail. So we're doing a scan, and when you're putting parts together, you can't tell how much detail you're going to get. But you can see as this thing rotates, you're getting eyelid detail and lip detail, and really you can tell exactly who the person is. And so I'm delighted that we're going to get that level of detail and still get the effect where they kind of shift in and out of, physicality in front of you.
So in that, the whole 12-foot figure is going to have that effect, and all 5 of those 12-foot figures will have that effect based on when you turn your head and your.
You can see in the background, there's a mock-up of how it's going to look as a full figure. So that's the head, the larger size. We can see the mock-up behind it as well, how that's going to look from the side.
And the only place that all the figures will disappear at once is from the very center point. And so everywhere else from the park, they're going to be tall, they're going to be lit. They'll have an interior lighted detail, so you guys can change the colors. Like for 4th of July, you can do red, white, and blue. You can do Christmas colors. You can do whatever you like. But they will have such a strong presence. And it's not until you get into that very center point that they do that sort of illusory disappearing effect.
The trick was creating a space with a pump track and a ball field, and in this whole area, how do you create that sacred space? So that's what the center of this was meant to be. So it's a memorial you walk into. So you can walk around and look at it, and as you're sitting on the benches, you're sitting on the park, you can still enjoy it and look at it. It's going to be magnificent, but you actually enter into the memorial. So rather than just sitting back and look at it, which is going to be gorgeous from all over the place, when you go into that, you're going into your own space. So there may be a game going on, there may be people on bicycle, but you're entering into a space that is that sacred place that we were trying to create in that big area.
Yeah, and when we came out to look at the scale, of possibly shifting scale and see if that made more sense, we really, I think, both had the same feel, which was like the power of this monument is that it's an intimate experience in the center. And so making it bigger or expanding it, I don't think was going to intensify any of that. I think it was going to start to dilute that effect that we're trying to get in that space.
Paul, can you talk a little bit about the star in the middle and how that's an interactive element?
Yeah, so we're going to be able to, that's one of the reasons we came, was now that it's here to see how everything kind of fits. So once you go in there, we're gonna have the star in the center. Right, then you'll be able to sit, contemplate. So we had to make it to where it was not only good for events, but there are people moving in and out of it when we have on Veterans Day or some kind of event that's going on. People are gonna be moving through it, but also people there on their own time, having lunch or coming there for the day. Or we want it to be a place to come and visit, not only for big occasions, but day to day. So this way you can come, you got a place to sit down, rest your feet and take it all in, rather than, so you'll be able to move through it as well. If you've got 500 people that are there and it's got a nice place you'll be able to walk around, so it has movement in it. People are moving where we want them to move. So we've designed it so they're going where we want them to go. But you've also got a place that you can sit and take it all in.
Thank you. And one of the things that Paul and Tyler shared with me, one of the elements is when you sit on that Star of Freedom, they purposely put the soldiers outboard, right? So when you're sitting there, their backs are to you, but they're outboard. They're telling you as you sit down on the Star of Freedom and you're enjoying your freedom that these soldiers are, they're on guard and they're protecting our freedom and our liberty. That's one of the elements. And so when you come to the city of Corcoran right now, and you go over, you take Orange Avenue exit off Highway 43, and you go over the tracks to your left right there, Chittenden and Orange Avenue. You can drive by there right now. You can see all the construction going on right now. The city of Corcoran's got I believe it's a $7 million grant. They're building a beautiful park there right now. So it's probably at about 40% build out right now, but you can actually see all the concrete. The amphitheater bench is already built. The paths to the Star of Freedom are already built. And so once the city of Corcoran completes the park, then these gentlemen will come back. They're going to ship the monument to Corcoran, California. And that's going to be a mission in itself. And then they'll take about 4 to 5 days to put it all together there. And then that will lead to the beautiful day when we're all there with you and you join us and our veterans and leaders in the community. And we'll all be able to grab a curtain off these monuments and count it down and pull it off and unveil this here. And so I guess at this point, I'd like to just, Mr. Kim's chair, open it up to the board members and see if anyone has any questions or comments.
I do have a question. So this is awesome. I mean, when we had that first meeting and I invited Richard to it and he asked for $1 million, I'm like, what the hell? You're ruining my negotiations here. But the vision has come together to be something that's bigger than I ever thought it would be. But I'm looking ahead in the future. So, we go to the DC and we always take a little souvenir back home with us. We'll take a little replica of a statue or something. Could we have these made in little statues that people can buy and purchase for their own home to help raise revenue for the park for future dates, like if we're gonna have an event? You can say, from Corcoran, it'll be a statue of the Marine or the Navy person or Air Force. It could be balsa wood, be plastic. It could be, you can have a high dollar one, maybe even out of stainless steel or bronze that is an actual replica of that you can put on your shelf. Is that something we can look into?
Absolutely.
That's a great idea. You just gave us the topic to fly home on. So yeah, we'll come up with some ideas.
I'm just looking, so we're 50 years down the road, the park's in disrepair and we want to make some money. So it gives an opportunity to buy a one-of-a-kind, limited number replica of the statues. And you can purchase whatever you want, one of them or all 5 together. I just think that's, and make it affordable to where it could be, something for a little kid to play with or someone to put on the mantle of their house. I know you have someone
Good idea.
there. I know the NRA always sells little statues you buy at the NRA dinners, something like that.
So excellent
Yes, we'll
idea.
bring some ideas back to you.
Anybody else?
Thank you for coming out. I really appreciate it. That my family's all from Corcoran. I'm sitting here thinking about all the family members that came to Corcoran back in the 1800s, 1900s and raised their families and went to the Army, Navy, Air Force, National Guard. My dad was in the Air Force. I got cousins in the Marines. I got cousins in the Navy. I got my great uncle was in the Navy. I got 2 other great uncles that stormed Normandy. One stormed the beach. One landed behind enemy line. One they made a movie about called Red Ball Express. He delivered fuel to the troops at night. So, we all have a story to tell. So this is a big deal. I think people come from all over California just to see this. So you guys need to be honored on there as well for building it. And well, thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you. And then that's what we've talked about, I know we have Corcoran City Council members, we got the mayor, Pat Nolan behind him, and Councilman Greg Ojeda. But one of the things that, thank you for being here, and thank you for the being supportive, because when we showed up with $1 million, when you and I came down to the mayor's Veterans Dinner, like, what's it been now, like 4 years? But way before the pandemic. And we presented the $1 million check to the veterans, and we promised them that something special was going to happen with this. We still thought we were going to have to go buy land, water, sewer, and City of Corcoran said, hey, we're building this park. And they went through all the legalities, got the vote of the council, and they just, this amphitheater was supposed to be for plays, and there was going to be a stage where this monument is. And they said, hey, let's make this amphitheater seating for our veterans and their families, and let's put that monument right here in the middle. So really want to thank you guys for that. And this is going to be a guaranteed statewide destination where people will come and hopefully spend the night in Corcoran, come see this. Thanks to their forward thinking, the LED lights. Once you see it during the daytime, let's stay so we can come see this at night, right? And get that experience. And hopefully for the years to come, we can build this to a national a monument, a national destination. Again, not only is it good for the city of Corcoran, but it's good for the county of Kings. And we want Kings County to know that this is all yours. This is, I mean, Corcoran's here. They'll tell you this is not a Corcoran thing. This is a Kings County thing for you and all your veterans. And we want to make the San Joaquin Valley feel like it's theirs. And Super Boone, we'll need your help too with your work with the Amtrak board. We want to make sure that as those Amtrak's going by, that it's in the script for those conductors to say, hey, if you look out the left side of the train, you will see the whatever we decide to name this thing, right? Especially at night while it's lit up. And so thank you again for all of that. And then we'll close with this because we're going to need help. The riders in the back, we're going to need your guys' help. What we were talking about the other day, and there's a lot of work to do for this, is we saw that the city of Atwater, they just got a retired Blue Angel plane, took it, delivered to them, right? So we're looking at the news and we're pulling up the press release. This thing got so much press. They did it so smart. They had this jet on the back of a flatbed truck. And as it worked its way through the country, they had stops and then fundraisers and events. And then it was a buildup. So when it got to Atwater, so the other night over dinner, we said, hey, we got something 1,000 times better. Well, it's going to be a lot of work, but we'll have a team of good people here in Kings County, and we could plan this so we could, I would love to advance to Memphis, get over there, and then drive back with them and whoever else wants to do it. And we organize some stops at major veterans installations along the way. It helps those posts raise money, well, knowing that this is stopping coming in, and it'll give us press. And that last leg, if our first stop in California is Bakersfield, and we wake up the next morning, we're coming to Corcoran, Alicia, the riders, we'd love to have you guys escort, the diesel trucks with the monuments, the pieces on the back, and we come to the city of Corcoran. And again, we can't wait for the beautiful day to come we unveil. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, for allowing us time. Thank you, board members, for all your support. And well, we really want to wish you guys a safe flight back to Memphis. Chairman's got something here for you.
Also, while you go back, we certainly want to thank you for all your time and effort. We do have a couple of mementos. Certainly a very important cap one for each of you. Be careful, the sheriff is back there. And I know in Memphis, not sure how many Portuguese people are, but these have been identified as Portuguese gang colors. So you have to be careful where you wear that, because you could be in, yeah. And then we also have a one-of-a-kind guaranteed to be a family heirloom lapel pin with the Kings County seal on it. There's a number on the back, but it's very small. Don't try to look. Have a safe trip, and thank you for everything.
We're just grateful to be a part of this.
Thank you. Absolutely, yeah. Get over it. Absolutely.
Hey, Paul. So in your pen, he gave you the pen, but this little, you got an artist. This is a description of what that pen means.
Okay.
Keep that in mind.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Come on, put you guys in the middle. The board members would stand up. It's my- right here. I'm in the flag.
Yeah.
You're just gonna grab a picture, Jim.
That's from the frog legs last night.
Thank you.
All right, good job, everyone.
Be safe, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Bob.
Be careful, man. Safe
Thank you.
flights. God bless you.
Thank you.
All right, good luck. Thanks.
Pleasure meeting you. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you for the little deviation from the traditional agenda this morning. I think that was a very important to go ahead and get that done so that our guests can go ahead. They do have a flight to catch, so thank you very much for that. We'll now return back to the printed agenda, and we'll go to unscheduled appearances. Any person may directly address the board at this time on any item on the agenda or any item within the subject matter jurisdiction of this board. Speakers will be limited to 2 minutes. And does the clerk have a record of anyone that would like to address the board under unscheduled?
I have no written comments, but the first speaker card I have is Abraham Valencia.
Morning, Abraham.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Abraham Valencia, Office of Emergency Services. So I wanted to just quickly come up here and first thank you for the attention and support you've been giving emergency preparedness in our county and my office. And secondly, the conversations we had last week, I've been thinking about it. And one of the things that I forgot to bring up is that, I did hear your concerns about your guys' involvement in emergency preparedness. Where's your role? How do you fit in the EOC? And under the direction of the chief and the CAO, we've been working to bring trainings. And so I'm bringing a training from FEMA in November. It's a 6-hour training one day. It's specifically made for public officials, elected officials such as yourselves and directors, executive level. What is your role? Emergency management starts from the top, your guidance. And so this is going to be a good segue to talk about, our disaster council, what we do here, our plans, how does our center operate? The training will be in our emergency operations center. So I have some flyers here that I'm going to leave with the Madam Clerk, and then I'll also be emailing you to follow up. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Good, thanks. What's for lunch?
Working on that.
You still working on it? Yeah. Yeah, we got to get the important things out of the way first. Yeah. What's for breakfast? What's for lunch? Thanks.
The next speaker we have is Rebecca Bell.
Good morning, Rebecca.
Good morning. I know I was madder than a hornet's nest when I was going to come in here. But seeing all those veterans, it was very humbling. So, families, military, but it's just, they said, what happened to you? And it's like, Uncle Sam owned my husband's butt. Why does he need to own mine? But anyway, kudos, Mr. Valle, in regards to giving that tongue wagging for the Kettleman people. Honestly, I don't understand how that possibly happened for the grand jury to have non-residents of that city, because we have it, right? Because we're making decisions for the people of this town. Every town has their own, grand jury. So shouldn't residents be members because we're making decisions for people that we at least know? But also on a personal level, I know some people that live in a not so good part of town because that's all I can afford. Unfortunately, they have a new owner for the apartment complex, and this is, I don't want to give the location because I don't want to cause no problems. But anyway, the new owners, what he's doing is that he's not renewing contracts. He's just letting it expire and not giving the people, because they're paying like $800, anywhere between $600 and $800 for rent. And he is now renovating things and kicking people out, even the ones that are paying on time and stuff, gave them no problem. So where are they supposed to go? So I don't know what the city or the county can do in regards to that, because I thought we're still in a no kick out kind of thing, even when you follow the rules kind of thing. The new owner is actually renovating it and giving the people the option to move back in, but instead of 800, it is now 1,100. So so where are those people supposed to go? To the worst side of town? I mean, I don't know if he can get any worse that he's already at. And I know some people, they make bad decisions, but there are some good people in there, honestly. So, and I refer people, even widows, they just, it was just the two of them. And a friend of mine, she just lost her husband, and she's worried that she can't afford where she's living, and to find out that in order for her to renew the contract, it's going to be $200 more. So I referred her to the housing authority, and the housing authority is way backed up to where they can't even help people. They have like a year or so, and I honestly don't know what they can do to help people, honestly, because you got families, you got widows, and you got people that are going to end up being on the streets. You have affordable housing, but it's a long line, and we need something to help them expedite to make it easier. So
Thank you.
thank you.
The next speaker I have is Ben from American Ambulance. I didn't want to mess up your last name. Apologize.
Yeah.
I'll let you tell us how.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Ben Wheely with American Ambulance. For the past 3 years, I've had the opportunity to serve you as the operations manager for American Ambulance. I've been reassigned to the Fresno office. So we went through a hiring process, and Nate Wright has been with American Ambulance for 8 years. For the past 4 years, he's been involved in the Kings County system as an operations supervisor. So he knows the system very well. There's going to be a seamless transition over the next couple weeks, and I just wanted to give Nate an opportunity to say hello, and I'll still be around for the next couple of months, kind of helping Nate figure out what his role is. So, thank you very much for the opportunity to serve you guys.
As Ben said, my name is Nate. I'm looking forward to working with all of you. If you need anything, you can call Ben.
Thank you, Ben. Appreciate all of your hard work and effort. I know, no, well, so did you pass the recipe on?
Frank never even gave it.
Yeah, we'll have to chase that guy down. Oh, yeah. Very good. Thank you, and good luck, Nate.
That's all the speaker cards I have, and it does not appear that anyone online has their hand raised.
Chief Lynch, you have a question, unscheduled comment?
Yeah, I apologize, Mr. Chairman. I realized I was remiss in not reporting something last week to you. One of our longtime employees for the Kings County Fire Department recently passed away, Mr. Harold Red. Started in the 50s, retired in the 80s, did most of his time in Burris Park. 31-year employee with the Kings County Fire Department. His services are tomorrow. They'll be at the Grangeville Cemetery. So if anyone feels like coming out to honor him, we'll be there. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. And thank you for that reminder. Anyone else? It's only a minute? Okay, Rebecca, I'll give you one shot.
Sorry about that, but if you also want to support veterans as well, there's one in Dinuba. Emily Bernius, she pretty much spearheaded, so I don't know if anybody knows about it, but they have that war memorial if anybody wants to go see it.
Very good. Thank you. See no one come forward and no hands raised online. I think we've completed everyone in unscheduled. So we'll move on to the first action item of the morning, and that's to report out on the closed session that was held on August 13th. And is there anything, Diane, you want to, 23rd, excuse me.
There's nothing to report out from August 23rd.
Very good. Thank you. The other item is to Approval of the minutes from the August 23rd meeting. Have board members had an
I'll make a
opportunity?
motion to approve the minutes of August 23rd meeting.
Second. Moved by Verboen, seconded by Peterson. Additional questions or comments? Hearing seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Abstain. Let the record show, 4 in favor, 1 abstention. Ismo was pretty good last week, huh?
It was cold.
Cold, yeah, I'm glad you're here because we'll warm you up this week.
I tried to lock some of that coldness in the car, but it didn't work.
You tried to bring a load back?
No.
Moving on to the next item on the agenda, which is the consent calendar. All items under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and will be acted with by one motion. The request of any board member, any item may be removed and made part of the regular agenda. Have board members had an opportunity to review the consent calendar?
There's no question or comments. I'll move to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Again.
Moved by Verboen, seconded by Fagundes. Additional questions or comments, clarifications? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Let the record show consent calendar stands adopted as printed. Thank you very much. Moving on to regular agenda items, we have already received the information and update on the Corcoran Veterans Memorial Park. We want to thank everyone for that participation. And let's see, Mr. Hill, you want to talk about the agreement with California Health and Recovery System?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to Assistant County Administrative Officer Kyria Martinez. She has that presentation for your board.
Very good. Good.
Good morning, board members. Kyria Martinez, administration. So the California Department of State Hospitals entered an agreement with the California Health and Recovery Solutions for the provision of early access stabilization services in California County jails. CHRS is a physician-owned entity managed by WellPath, who is our jail medical provider. The county currently has a contract with WellPath for medical provider services for our adult and juvenile populations and for a jail-based competency restoration service program called the JBCT program. So an opportunity presented itself for the county to be one of the first counties in the state to be able to start an early access stabilization service program in the jail medical facility. For shortness, we will call it the EASE program. The EASE program is an entry-level program before an inmate can enter the JBCT program or any other Department of State hospital program. Throughout the state of California, there are currently approximately 2,000 adults in jail facilities who are detained and incompetent to stand trial as a result of a mental health disorder, and this is all an all-time high wait list in California. As a result, these adults are required to wait in jail for several months, sometimes close to a year before they can get admitted to a Department of State hospital program. So currently, Kings County has an average wait about 14 inmates in our population of about 450 that cannot enter into the program from the Department of State Hospital or our JBCT program that we have in our facility. So in 2020, we entered an agreement with state hospitals to provide this jail-based competency treatment program that is provided by the Department of State Hospitals, which brings restoration services. So for a solution to the problem on the wait list to enter these JBCT or Department of State Hospital, County Administration and Behavioral Health and Sheriff's Office, in partnership with our current jail medical provider, WellPath, strategized opening an EASE program at our jail. WellPath began to provide restoration services virtually, in person, and in combination of all. Patients who are not restored to competency in the EASE program will eventually be admitted to a JBCT program or a Department of State Hospitals program. The overall goal to have the EASE program is to be able to start restoration services immediately following the court deeming them to be incompetent to stand trial. WellPath strives to improve the level of functioning of inmates who can return to the state and who are hindered by the ability to comprehend basic legal proceedings and ability to assist in their own defense. So the item presented today is an agreement with the county and the California Health Recovery Solutions, retroactively effective July 18th through June 30th of 2024. There is also an MOU with the Department of State Hospitals for the program. This contract is not a contract with the state, rather a contract with the provider who will provide the services. New legislation effective July 1st of this year allows for state hospitals to contract directly to providers to provide these services. So essentially, these programs are ran in our jail. when we had an inmate needed those early access stabilization services, we started treatment immediately, resulting in the contract being retroactive to July 18th. Since the inception of this program, we've had some success stories, and I will let Dr. Karen Katraba, the Vice President of Mental Health Services for WellPath, who is also attending virtually, to speak on that. So for the fiscal impact, the county will provide 1.4 detentions deputy to facilitate the provision of the services. In exchange, CHRS will reimburse the county annually in the amount of $189,000. The sheriff's office will absorb the additional 0.6 FTE in their budget through their salary service. Today, I would like to thank the sheriff's office, behavioral health, for coming together and presenting this program to our county. They are here today. We have all the lieutenants from the jail. We also have Amanda Gibson from WellPath, Maria Cantu, her health service administrator, and Dr. Karen. So I will let her speak if she has anything to add to this.
Good morning and thank you. I'm Corinne Katraba. My parents did me no favors on that name spelling. But I really appreciate this opportunity to chat before the board. We have had some early success in Kings County, where actually we've restored a couple of patients to competency. So we've been able to get them back to court and get their cases adjudicated without further delay of them waiting for Department of State hospital programs. So it's really been a pleasure to work with Kings County Sheriff's Department on implementing this program, and it's a tremendous success for the patients that we serve.
At this time, we request to approve an agreement with California Health and Recovery Solutions retroactively effective from July 18th, 2020 through June 30th, 2024 for entry-level access to competency treatment. Allocate 2.0 detentions deputy 1/1 STC/2 to implement the early access and stabilization service program. Approve the memorandum of understanding between the county and Department of State hospitals for the subrecipient funds of the early access stabilization services, and adopt the budget change.
Thank you. Questions, comments, concerns? Supervisor Peterson.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I'm sure this is a much needed program. My concerns, I guess, lie around obviously transfer of liability and costs associated with this. So when an inmate or a person that's getting ready to go on trial gets the IST designation, is that person awarded the state at that point? Or how does the for lack of a better word, who owns that person at that time?
Karen?
Sure. The patient, when he or she is deemed incompetent to stand trial, that patient is the responsibility of the Department of State hospital. And there was a recent change in the Welfare and Institution Code as of July 1st that was mentioned earlier that kind of outlines that. So it's for that reason that these services are being provided. When a patient is enrolled in the services, again, they're part of a Department of State hospital service program, but the state does have the responsibility for those patients. When they go back to court, that means they've likely been restored to competency, in which case they're no longer the responsibility of the state because they've been restored to competency.
Thank you. I just concerns, I mean, the state continues to look at closing facilities, that transfers liability to the county. When you look at how long these people may be held, the other question beyond this, they have the IST designation, they're held in the county. Are we picking up some of the costs, the daily cost of housing that inmate? Or is this cover some of that? I'm just curious.
So through our JBCT program that we have, the state hospitals does reimburse us 100%. So we give them a budget and they give us housing, they pay for the detentions deputies, even maintenance of the building.
Okay.
And then once they're entered into this program, from a liability standpoint, now they're staying at our facility, they're housed in our facility. I'm just curious where this contract is direct between the state and WellPath, not with us.
Correct.
But somehow if something goes awry, I'm just curious where the liability falls. Is it a state liability if something occurs? This inmate, chooses to take his life or her life, and there's some we didn't cover it. I'm just curious where the liability stands with respect to that person.
We brought the same concerns to the Department of State Hospitals for that reason, and we were, that's why this MOU, the Department of State Hospitals provided this memorandum of understanding, because at first we initially did not have it. And so when we worked with council, because we are in contract with WellPath, it would indemnify through their coverage for this contract as well.
Perfect. That's the questions I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Additional Supervisor?
One real quick one, Mr. Chairman. I'm from reading the two detention deputies that the sheriff gets. Are these two new bodies that he gets to hire?
Correct.
Okay, so it's not going to add any existing strain to what he has already.
Additional questions or comments?
If there's no more question or comments, I'll move approval as presented.
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Good. Moved by Verboen, seconded by Valley. Thank you very much. Additional discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboen.
Yes.
Craig Peterson.
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Let the record show that item stands approved, 5 in favor. Thank you very much. The next is the second amendment to the agreement between Kings County and the California Forensic Medical Group.
Yes, good morning, board members. Kyria Martinez again. The county entered an agreement with California Forensic Medical Group and its management service organization, WellPath, for medical and behavioral healthcare services at our local detention facilities on July 1st of 2020 through June 30th of 2024. The agreement provides a system of healthcare to include on-site access to nursing, medical, behavioral health, dental, pharmacy, and radiology services to our adults and juvenile population. The county is entering into its third year with WellPath. An amendment is requested to add additional services from WellPath. The staffing amendment for this contract includes replacing the director of nursing with 1.5 registered nurse managers, 0.4 FTE of mental health professional hours for weekend coverage, 2.1 FTE of licensed vocational nurse, 0.2 FTE of dentist hours, and 0.2 FTE of dental assistance hours. The contract has a built-in consumer price index escalator based on medical care costs for the Western region, the CPI. The increase is not to exceed 5.5% in any contract year. So for the third year of this contract for fiscal year 22-23, the contract is $5,019,505, and that includes a 3% CPI increase. However, due to the additional services requested from the current staffing, it's an additional cost of $383,305. Bringing the annual cost of $5,528,737. The cost of services are included in the final adopted budget. 4 departments currently pay for this contract. That is Sheriff's Office, Probation, Behavioral Health, and Public Health. County administration oversees the administration and the annual cost of this contract and meets annually with departments to go over these costs. The proposal with the amendment was coordinated with all 4 departments prior to submission to your board. At this time, staff requests to approve the second amendment to the agreement between County of Kings and California Forensic Medical Group, Inc. for provisions of medical, behavioral health, and dental care services for individuals detained in Kings County Jail and the Kings County Juvenile Center.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Any questions or comments?
There's no questions or comments. Move for adoption.
Second, Verboen.
Moved by Peterson, seconded by Verboen. Additional questions, comments, concerns? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboen.
Yes.
Craig Peterson.
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Let the record show that item stands approved. Thank you very much. The next item comes from Behavioral Health regarding a designation for September. Anchang, good morning.
Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. Chung Perry at Behavioral Health. This morning, the department is requesting to adopt a resolution by joining local communities, the state of California, and nation in declaring September as National Suicide Prevention Month. Suicide prevention continues to be a preventable public health and mental health issue that impacts many families and community across the nation. And while suicide prevention is important to address year-round, the Awareness Month provides a dedicated time to come together with a collective passion and strength around a difficult topic. Every year, the Lifeline and the other mental health organization across the country raise awareness of suicide prevention during the month of September. To increase the awareness in Kings County, the department's Mental Health Services Act Division outreach coordinator team in collaboration with the Kings County Mental Health Task Force came up with various outreach activities for the county. To start with, 988, the new National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which was launched in July this year, is being already promoted through various medias like radio station, social media, and also Kings County Rapid Transit card that has signs on the buses. And lastly, the county election office offered to include the flyer in this year's ballots, which will be reaching out to 50,000 plus residents in Kings County. Department is also planning and co-sponsoring the third annual multi-county suicide prevention summit with all other counties in California on September 20th. The department was able to contract with Hanford Mall Movie Theater to run sport group awareness. We have 4 sport groups that provide activities for the community throughout the year. Collaboration with the Kings County Office of Education, Comprehensive Suicide Prevention Resource Guide will be relaunched this year to be available to all school districts in Kings County. And other new activities this year, the department is excited about in-person outreach events at Corcoran State Prison for their staff and contract providers, and Lemoore Naval Station, and also high schools in Kings County, in Hanford. Also facilitating suicide prevention certified training, Safe Talk, and Suicide Talk for community stakeholders and various community holders, and Recovery Fast suicide prevention outreach event in September. And lastly, the department will have a booth at Hanford Farmers Market all throughout the month of September with our direct service providers. The revenue and expenditure for all these activities are paid through Mental Health Service Act funding, budget unit 42200, and was included in the adopted budget 22-23. The resolution has been reviewed and approved by the county council to form. I'd be glad to answer any questions you have.
Very good. Thank you. Questions, comments, or concerns?
I think none, Mr. Chairman. I think maybe notable, with respect to mental health. And I think the work that CSAC has done, the care courts effort, which initially was introduced and would help try and, for those that have lost their ability to act on their own. This is, I think, an important move. And the real challenge was that there was no funding associated with care courts. And I think there's been some significant movement as well on that. So I think, we're going to start to build a system that can help those that are, mentally challenged and can't make good decisions for themselves, and may end up in a scenario where they take their lives, and that's obviously the worst outcome. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I would move for adoption.
I have a motion by Fagunda, seconded by Peterson. Discussion. Hearing or seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Let the record show that item stands approved, 5 in favor. Thank you, Angel. The next, I guess there's one item with two different actions from the fire department regarding federal excess personal property program.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Bill Lynch, Kings County Fire Department. Here this morning with an item related to the Federal Excess Personal Property Program. This program allows surplus equipment from the Department of Defense and the U.S. Department of Forestry to be utilized by the state foresters and then passed down to local fire departments should they need some equipment, some tools, some things that fit their needs. So this program has been around since, like I said in the item, since 1956, so it's a long-term program. To date, we haven't really, Kings County Fire Department hasn't really gotten anything out of it locally, but in our past days, we got a Jeep and a few other things back in the day. So most of the equipment is surplus from the federal government, so it may or may not be in good operating condition. If you accept it, then you accept the liability of maintaining it. You don't have to necessarily give it back. If it's used up or destroyed or broken, then it just gets surplused off. So, this agreement, or actually this resolution was created by county council and is reviewed by them. So I would ask that you approve the resolution authorizing the participation in the Federal Excess Property Program and then authorize the fire chief to sign the agreement with the Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Very good. Thank you. Questions, comments?
There's no question, comments, move for approval.
Moved by Fagundes, seconded by Verboen. Additional questions, comments, or concern? Hearing or seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
That item stands approved, 5 in favor. Good luck. Happy hunting. Hopefully you'll find some. The next items come from Public Works. Two items. One, consider a construction agreement and a professional services agreement. Mitchell. Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Mitchell Cabrera, Chief Engineer with Public Works Department. Here before your board this morning requesting the approval of the construction agreement for the fiscal year 21-22 SB1, Senate Bill 1 funded roadway project. Earlier this year, June 14th, your board approved the plans and specifications for this project as well as the advertisement. The county received 9 bids, which was a good turnout, especially for a project of this size. Out of those 9 bids, AG Construction submitted the lowest bid, $4.8 million. This project is expected to be covered with the SB1 21/22 allocations. It's around 17.7 miles of roadways that are being improved with this project. 16 of those miles are with the HMA, the hot mix asphalt overlay, and 1.7 are with a slurry seal. If awarded, this project is expected to begin second week of September, and completion would be before the Thanksgiving break holiday when the cold weather kicks in. So we would like to try to get this project in before the cold weather hits. If you have any other questions, we'd be happy to answer.
Very good. Thank you. Questions, comments, concerns?
Or no question, comments, move for approval.
And I'll second.
Moved by Fagundes, seconded by Verboen. Thank you very much. Additional questions, comments, or concerns? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboon.
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Let the record show that item stands approved, 5 in favor. Would you like to continue with the professional services agreement?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. The second item is kind of hand in hand with the first item. This is approving the professional services agreement with Odell Engineering for the service of being the surveyor, monument preservation, pre-construction, during construction, and post for the survey monuments along the 17 miles of Kings County roadway that will be affected by our overlay project. The county, through the RFP, the request for proposal process, received 6 proposals for this work. Odell was selected based off of the qualifications. Their contract amount is for $81,000, which will be paid through using the SB1 funding. And if approved by your board, we'll approve that agreement and hopefully get this project going. If you have any questions. willing to answer those.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions or comments regarding the service agreement?
Move approval as presented.
Second.
Moved by Verboen, seconded by Fagundes. Additional questions or comments? Hearing or seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboen.
Yes.
Craig Peterson.
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Let the record show that item stands approved. 5 in favor. Good job. Thank you. Good luck on the projects. Hopefully be done by Thanksgiving. Is that this year or next year? This year. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. We've concluded all of the items on today's agenda. We'll now move to board member announcements or reports on their own initiative. Board members can talk about their own activities, and Supervisor Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Not a lot to do, just wanted to recognize one passing, Catherine Arnellis in Armona. As a young man growing up there, went to grammar school, and she was always a very powerful voice in the Armona School District, and their family, again, one of those original families in Armona. Growing up there, and it was really an amazing community with so many different influences, Portuguese influence, the folks from the Dust Bowl, the Japanese influence, and just one of those names that you hate to see leave, but she lived a long life, and just send the best to her family.
Thank you. Supervisor Verboen.
Yesterday, I had the pleasure of attending an event put on by the Farm Bureau. It was a small group of growers that they brought in, Julie Robinson, the Department of Pesticide Regulations, and Karen Ross, the Secretary of Agriculture. We met at the Ag Commissioner's office, brief discussion on what we're going to need in our area to keep things moving, with agriculture being important to us. Talked about pesticide regulations and how it affects us when they make rules without our input. We went to Dwayne Dutra's property, talked about cotton and how it affects him. Tony DeGroot's dairy, talked about the sustainability and using all food products throughout the region to be resourceful. And then we went on to Dino Giacomazzi's almond orchard, talked about harvest and how it affects them. Had a brief, it was about 4 hours long, good visit, and glad to be part of it.
Good. Thank you. Supervisor Val.
Yes, thank you again, Mr. Chairman, for your gracious amount of time the board gave to Paul and Tyler earlier today. Also, Mr. Chairman, on Sunday afternoon, I received a phone call from Assemblymember Rudy Salas. As you know, tomorrow at midnight closes the legislative session. So it's the last minute opportunities for any kind of resources or help for his district. So he's indicated that he's still working very diligently on some things. And so as soon as this meeting's over, I'll be heading to Sacramento overnighting, and I have the opportunity to spend some time with him today and tomorrow. And I'll be in the gallery of the Assembly tomorrow. And I just want to stress that going up there for the betterment of all the county, and hopefully an opportunity that doesn't just impact my district, all of the county, which most of the time where I go there and have been able to be helpful in bringing back resources, the majority has been resources for all the county, including the sheriff, and the things that we've done there. So thanks for the opportunity to head up, and thank the clerks for setting me up there. Appreciate you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. Thank you. Supervisor Fagundes.
Well, as you stated earlier, I was at the coast last week. It was time, and it was wife's birthday, so I thought I'd try to be a nice guy for a couple of days.
Did it work?
Halfway, 50%. And then I came back on Thursday, and Rosemary from the health department invited me over and filled me in on some items that she had, and I thank you for that. And that was about it for me.
Good. Well, we certainly appreciate your official role as ambassador to Pismo Beach. And so, I want everybody to know that was a working trip, not just a pleasure trip. Or
if you can convince everybody that, I'll go along with it.
We'll work on it. We'll work on it. For me, at the CART meeting, we updated our safety plan. did a right-of-way contract for the transit center, extended that out. MV Transportation hiring process, currently, they need about 35 drivers. Currently, they only have about 31, but they're always training 5 or 6. And so that continues to work. We also talked about a electric minibus from Demiria, Turkey-built bus, as Supervisor Verboen talked about. We have an unbalanced trade agreement with Turkey. So it was kind of a discussion to talk about buying a foreign-built bus that carries about 19 people.
Little people.
Yeah, it's not, yeah, square footage is not real big. It is new to the United States, but it has been operated in Portugal, Canada, and the European countries for 5 or 6 years. About 250 grand, plus a $40,000 charging system, compared to $1 million transit bus. So this is going to be a trolley type electric vehicle that should be delivered in November, that we're going to be trying. All of the safety standards and federal government approved process in place. So hopefully we'll be able to see these new little units.
I'll drive it.
You want to drive it?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, because you don't think you can fit in the seats or what?
I can fit in the driver's seat. I
Yeah.
can't fit in the little seats in the
Yeah,
back.
yeah, they are. Yeah, it is kind of a smaller vehicle, but it will be kind of interesting to see how
It'll look full.
all the time.
The constituents that complain about seeing the buses that are empty, this one will look full all the time.
And then we also talked about the go-kart program. This is the 3rd month of operation. Riders continue to use that operation especially since we had to shut down a couple of routes, we're allowing them to use their passes on it. But that go-kart system seems to be working well in Hanford, and we hope to deploy that in other communities in the future. KCAG, we talked about the 2022 Sustainable Community Strategy and selected a plan. We also allocated State of Good Repair funds for Corcoran. That's identified lighting and some transit building improvements. And then that's the money that's going to use to purchase the minibus. The Caltrans Highway 198 repairs came up for discussion. The cutouts with some of the change in grades are getting a lot of negative press from people. They're a 1/4 inch drop that's going to be backfilled with an overlay. It's projected to be done in October. And hopefully, and like me, when you have a bad road like that, I just don't use 198 anymore. I just go around it. But a lot of people are not doing that. They're having problems. So those changes are going to be an issue probably until mid-October. So we're another 45 days or so. Caltrans, correct. KCAG will be having a special meeting on the 15th and cancel the September 28th meeting. So just for the record, and if you want to go ahead and review the Sustainable Communities Strategy, that will be the time to do that. Traveled to Visalia to participate in the Kings Tulare Master Plan for Aging. Continues to work on questions to ask seniors how to improve their lives in the future. Living conditions, medical care, nutritional needs in the future. So we continue to work on that. While I was there, I went ahead and swung by the affordable housing development by Self-Help Enterprises, groundbreaking. It was in I call it Goshen, they call it Visalia, Riggin and American Avenue. Housing, case management, support of affordable housing in an environment that will hopefully change lives for everybody in that community. Over the weekend, the Santa Rosa Rancheria held its 2022 powwow. This was the first one in 3 years, a 3-day event. Had Native American tribes from across the United States and Canada. They had all of the tradition back on that facility, and it worked out very well. They held it in the new bingo hall, so at least it was inside. It was air conditioned. and had everything else, outside, in a covered area, so it was nice. Saturday night, Lemoore Raceway, we only had about 50 cars. Friday night in Visalia, the track was kind of rough, so I guess they ate up a couple of cars. So hopefully they'll be back for a couple more weekends of racing. And then the NFHS high school sports is back online. So if you want to catch out any of your high school sports, a lot of that is online and you can watch those. Last night we had the ability to watch a granddaughter at Giles High School in Virginia, and then turned around and watched the another granddaughter that's playing in LeGrand, and stayed at home, watched both. So it was pretty nice. And then the heat advisory, if the heat advisory is coming up, they're predicting some of the highest temperatures of the year, in the 110 range, 12. And so follow all of the heat precautions that you can follow. Find a cool spot, drink plenty of water. What else from the health department? Just, yeah, and
Rita's poolside.
yeah. So just be advised that I think the weekend and Monday, all the way up now, I think they've extended it to Tuesday. So the next 3 or 4 days, or at least around the Labor Day weekend, will be extremely hot. So take precautions. With that, go back, Supervisor Valley.
Mr. Chair, could I piggyback your comments on that? I never saw this before. I don't know how long it lasts, but yesterday when we got done with business, I took Paul West to Pismo real quick to, show him the beach and have a late lunch. The water was, I think they call it a red tide, or a lot of bacteria in there, but I don't know if that's going to last through the weekend, if anyone's planning on going, but you couldn't get in the water. There was no one on the beach. It looked like canal water, the beach. I never saw it look that bad. And I was kind of embarrassed because I took him over there to show him nice, beautiful beach. And we looked over the cliff and it was just all muddy.
Like an algae
Seen
bloom,
it like that, like high bacteria. All the seagulls were all, thousands of them were just on the cliff because they couldn't go in the water. I never saw that either, but
They got the memo, huh?
yeah. So if you plan to go cool down over there, better check because you can't get in there. I heard you'd get sick if you even go in that water right now.
Yeah. With that, Mr. Hill, you want to talk about board correspondence, upcoming events, and future agenda items?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. For board correspondence, your board received correspondence dated August 21st from Stratford Public Utility District regarding a water storage tank and well replacement project. For upcoming event, the Kings County Fire Department will be holding their badge pinning ceremony Friday, September 2nd at 3 p.m. The ceremony will take place here at the board chambers. The Job Training Office will be hosting the Kings County Annual Job Fair on Thursday, September 8th at 9 a.m. at Civic Center Auditorium located at 400 North Dowdy Street. There will be 50 employers for people to speak with in person and potentially even interview with some on the spot. So participants should come prepared with resumes and dress for success. Kings County Sheriff Posse will be holding their annual dinner, dance, and crab feed September 10th. The event is being held at Burris Park. Tickets are $150 per person, which includes all you can eat crab and tri-tip. You must be 21 years of age or older to attend. If you would like to purchase tickets, please email Amy Kemp Ben-I or call at 852-2795. Lieutenant Commander Otis V. Tolbert, U.S. Navy 3rd Annual Memorial Golf Tournament takes place on September 10th at the Lemoore Golf Course located at 350 Iona Avenue in Lemoore. Prices are $125 per team for a 4-man scramble. All proceeds will benefit the Otis Vincent Tolbert Memorial Scholarship Fund. The Rotary Club of Hanford will also host its golf tournament at the Kings County Country Club on September 12th from 10:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Space is limited to 120 players. It's a reservation, first come, first served basis. Proceeds from the event will be split among area veterans service organizations. Contact Joan Darling for questions, sponsorship, and more information, 559-977-999. The 21st Annual Blues and Roots Festival will take place in downtown Hanford at Civic Park on Saturday, September 17th from 5:30 PM to 10 PM. Admission is free. For upcoming agenda items, the following items are for the September 13th meeting, as September 6th meeting is being canceled. Admin has 4 items: consideration regarding appointment to the Fish and Game Advisory Committee, consideration regarding approval of Senate Bill 81 Juvenile Center Model Project, contract amendment with Banner Construction Management Incorporated, and consideration for a resolution to continue to declare a local emergency due to drought conditions in Kings County. Finance has 1 item for consideration regarding fiscal year 22-23 property tax rates. Fire has 1 item for consideration regarding pre-approval of, for purchase of Dozer 9 transportation equipment. Health has 2 items, consideration regarding public health funding changes and county update regarding COVID-19. Library has 1 item for consideration regarding mobile library funds. Probation has 1 item for consideration regarding the California Department of Public Health COVID mitigation grant for custody facilities. Public Works has 1 item, consideration regarding the approval of Central Services Generator Replacement Project. And Sheriff has 3 items, consideration regarding approval to purchase an overhauled aircraft engine, consideration regarding approval of an agreement with California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation for temporary housing, and consideration regarding approval to purchase a mini caliber robot. That concludes our report. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Michelle. Questions or comments from Ms. Hill? Anything you want to add? With that, that concludes all of the business on today's agenda. The September 6th meeting has been canceled due to observance of Labor Day on Monday, September 5th. The next regular scheduled meeting will be Tuesday, September 13th at 9 a.m. With that, please stay safe and healthy, everyone. Watch the hot weather, and we will see you in September. Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned.